Hello!
Hello, AOS fans!
It's the Agents of Sigmar.
And in this video, we're going to be chatting about the newly revealed
Starter Box!
Starter Box!
Yes, Underworlds new Starter Box. GW have announced it. It's due sometime in the summer, they told us, because of the release schedule they showed us before.
Yes, it's going to be, this summer, who knows when. But GW have kind of, I guess it's like a mini relaunch of Underworlds, really, isn't it? They're pushing the competitive play, and they've revamped the Starter Box, which I think it really didn't need. I've seen a few people who have bought it recently, but I think of all the products, it was probably one of the worst Underworlds products. I didn't like it.
Apart from the card sleeves. Yes, I think so.
Okay, let's not go into a list of more things that are bad about Underworlds.
Another thing. We're here to talk about the box.
Hopefully this one will be better.
Hopefully. And it's got 2 old warbands in it.
Yeah, they revamped 2 old warbands, which they said they would never do.
They did. They literally told us that face to face. I mean, wasn't quite face to face. We were all in a big pub with about 100 people, but as good as.
Somebody asked the question, do you think they'll ever go and revisit them? And it was John Bracken, who was on the design team for Underworlds at the time. I don't know if he still is. And he said, well, they don't really like to go back and do stuff. No. So this is that was about 4 or 5 years ago now, but that's a back pedal. But I welcome one, I think, because I think for whatever reason, the Season 1 warbands are well thought of and much loved.
They're just, I think it's because we've played with them for so long.
Maybe
now.
That's what it is. But
like
it's not just us.
Years.
Everybody really
loads of people do,
them. So we've got revamped Fast Riders and Pete.
Revamped Sepulchral Guard.
Which is Pete's first love. I'm not sure what that's meant to be. It's a bit like vampires. Anyway.
The models are the same. They're not revamped, but they're getting whole new Rivals decks. You're going to be able to play with them out the box.
Because that is the biggest bugbear, I suppose, about the old Season 1 and 2 warbands, that you can't usually play with them because they don't have or in Rivals you can't play with them straight with the faction deck. They don't have enough cards.
Yeah.
They're going to give them enough cards, which is really exciting.
It'll be interesting to see whether they're just going to chuck a few in from, like, there was the Leaders pack that they released, whether they're just going to take them and chuck them in there or just fill it up with a great strength or something.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, they were pretty terrible.
Although, I think the Fast Riders one is really good.
Because they've got the bird attack one,
just does a damage.
It was 1 ping damage within 4 hexes. Yeah, it was fantastic.
It's a good card.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do on that one. We do know from looking at some of the pictures that it does have things like Bone Shrapnel is still there. You can see a picture of that's in the book. So it looks like they're going to be revamping some of it and then maybe adding a bit to it. So, but we don't know a lot about that side of it yet.
And they have tinkered with some stats?
They have, yes. We've seen that the Prince of Dust, he has a shield now on defense when he is uninspired, and he does 2 damage off the bat instead of 1.
Making him significantly better than he was.
Significantly better than Yao, yes. Alongside that, we've seen that some of the Fast Rider cards don't appear to have stat increases.
No.
But it does look like they might have a slightly wordier inspiration. Maybe,
there's definitely more lines in the inspiration box. And if you can just make out a blurry photograph of what looks like Fast Rider himself.
Pretty sure it's Fast Rider,
I think there's Eagle Eye, and then the next card over is Fast Rider. Yep. And he's only got 2 attacks on his card. And the original version, he has 3 attacks. He's got a Boltstorm pistol attack, I can't remember what the other one is. Is it a siding attack?
Some kind of hand axe thing.
Hand axe, and then a bird attack when he's inspired. So you can only see the inspire side. And he's only got 2, and it looks like he's got a bird attack and the hand axe attack.
Yep.
And the bird attack is actually a better version of the Boltstorm pistol attack, because it's the same damage, same dice, but goes one further.
And it has Grievous.
So it's potentially do more damage.
Yep.
The only thing is, you could get upgrades which could have improved the Boltstorm pistol attacks, or you could get cards which maybe use to make another Boltstorm pistol attack. So it'd be interesting if he inspires, whether he stops using that. It kind of makes some sense, because obviously if you're trying to control a bird and shoot with a pistol, it's quite hard. So.
Every time I try it, I always end up shooting,
blowing your own foot off.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are some of the changes we've seen in regards to the war bands.
They've brought some boards back.
They have. Yeah.
So they're the Nightvault boards, I believe. 2 Nightvault boards. There's the Soul Refracture and the Ruptured Spleen.
The Ruptured Seal. And there's a cursed
seal with a ruptured spleen.
And there is a cursed omelette and the penitent throne.
The cursed oubliette. I'd completely forgotten about that one.
Yeah, the oubliettes. And I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. Some of the earlier boards were quite nice, but these will obviously lack a lot of the hexes that you're not going to get in later seasons. There won't be gloom, there won't be stagger.
I have very few thoughts about boards. I think the game would be fine if there were just like 4 boards you could play on. So I don't have really strong feelings about that. I know some people really do. Probably people who are better at playing the game than me, but they're pretty. Yeah, but I don't really mind which one I play on any given time.
A lot of us old timers will already have those boards as well, so it's going to be extra card with no requirement. It was interesting to note though that when we talk about extra tokens, the tokens look different for move.
It looks like they've revamped them. Yes, they've got little arrows on them. It kind of makes sense because in the olden days, we've got one here, got a nice acrylic one here. In the olden days, they have little, effectively stop signs on them, or can't go signs. And you can now because you can move.
You can do multiple moves. You couldn't use the back in my day. You couldn't do multiple moves, but you can now.
So a change is good. The only drawback, as you pointed out, Pete, is if you get this new starter set and then you play it and then you go off to a club or whatever to play another game and somebody brings out these. I mean, it's not very difficult, but
it's still
you don't know what they are.
It's still a bit jarring that they change it, and I think you'd said before when we were talking about this, there's no good time to change it. So you just got to rip that bandage off.
It makes sense why they've changed it, and they've got to do it at some point. And you say there isn't a good point. Which, speaking of which, I've seen people complaining that they're bringing out Rivals decks for this.
Yeah.
Because I've got the old ones and now I've got to buy the new ones. Well, firstly, you haven't got to.
No.
It would be great if GW did supply the cards.
Like a Champions of, like they did with some of the previous.
In a White Dwarf, or even a Champions of, just because it's going to only be a handful of cards you need, unless the whole thing has been revamped, of course.
Well, they are new card arts.
If the whole deck has got new cards, then the old cards might be. Well, that would get very confusing though, because presumably the old ones will still be valid.
I mean, there would be if you don't have the new ones. So there's going to be. There are going to be.
I think they will repeat cards. I haven't thought about that. I'm just thinking on the fly in the video. I think they'll have to repeat the cards.
I mean, there are going to be some new ones in there because there wasn't a full Rivals deck. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that.
It'd be nice if GW allowed somehow put them in a White Dwarf, or somehow had some way of getting them, or just said you can print them off and sleeve them and use them.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
No, but that would be nice if they did. I mean, I guess unless you're playing in a super duper tournament, you probably could do that.
Yeah, you probably can. A lot of people do that one. They have also added in a playthrough booklet in this version, so you get to walk through the game and it tells you how it happens at every stage. You can even do that solo if you want. And I like that they've done that. They're acknowledging that not everybody who picks up Underworlds is a die-hard tabletop board game player who's just going to understand all this terminology. So it is catering to those people and gives them a softer start to it, which I'm a big fan of.
And you can kind of take you through step by step, roll by roll, one assume. So Pete, you might actually roll some crits in this game.
I probably won't.
No, probably not. Neither of the warbands are magical warbands, so we're not going to see that. I assume the magic rules are going to be in there because they did effectively say it's the same rule book as the Weird Hollow one, because the old starter set, one of the problems was that the rules were a bit different.
Quite out of date,
didn't have as much stuff in. So I assume it's going to include the magic, but obviously there'll be no magic in the playthrough because there's no magic dice. In the warbands.
And there's no magic dice either. So
I hadn't noticed that. So
no magic dice on the table.
I suppose you wouldn't need them. I wouldn't need them, but the only way then, if you're going to go forward and play Magic Warbands,
you have to buy another box. Yeah. So, and it's another falling down where I feel like they just should have put them in there.
That's a little bit poor, They should have, even though you can't use them, they should have.
At least it's there, because the idea is that they want you to buy that and go, I'm going to buy a warband and a Rivals deck and stuff, and then you go, I'm going to buy this warband. Oh, they've got spells. I haven't got any spell dice.
Yeah, because I feel like I can't remember now. Not every starter box has had a wizard in since Chasm, is it?
No, not all of them.
No. So and they've all had magic dice in. So that's not. I hadn't noticed that. I'm not so pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm not pleased by this.
They have said they're going to include the new rules like barge, stun, and salvage, which I would expect. I assume it'll be in the book, but there'll be no way to plunder. Plunder is a rule that we often forget anyway. But there isn't any in those two warbands. There's no way of removing tokens, so there's going to be no way of putting them in. So that rule is going to be a bit confusing.
If they get it in there, or whether they've just cut that out, like no one needs to hear about this yet, so let's just leave it.
Maybe.
But then you get that problem again where it's like, well, in this version, which is the starter version, it doesn't have rules, which the later versions do, so potential for a little bit of confusion there again.
I think it'll be in there, just redundant.
I hope so, but then it makes you question magic, because it's like, well, is it just going to be in there and redundant? But I don't know. We will find out.
I think it did say in the article it would be a copy of the Weird Hollow book, so one would hope we'd see everything in there and just not used.
So that is pretty much everything that we know about the box that we've seen from the clips and the article that they put in there. I'm quite interested to see how this goes. I think it's good that they're doing a revamp of it. I think they've picked two fantastic warbands for this to happen with. I'm enjoying season one.
Garrick's though.
Yeah, I mean Skellies versus Garrick's. I can see what you're doing. I like that. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, that would be all right. That would be all right. I kind of feel like Silparkle God has one of the more of the starting warbases, one of the more difficult inspire mechanics.
It is, yeah, it is trickier. But maybe we've seen they've changed some stats, and maybe inspiring them won't be as problematic as it was.
It won't be as vital.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah. Yes, because already the prince is harder to kill, which automatically makes him harder to inspire.
Exactly. So yeah, maybe that's not going to be as problematic as it was. So,
do you think we might see Shadespire Rivals decks hitting the ground, like almost like starter Underworlds? Underworld starters orders.
Hey.
Doesn't quite work, does it?
No, not really.
But I definitely feel like this is GW saying we haven't forgotten Underworlds.
Yeah.
We want to revamp it. The fact this is like a proper product, whereas the starter box almost just felt like, well, we got left lying around.
Let's sling some of that in a box, and there you go, have something.
But I feel like this is a proper attempt to get people beginning the game nice and simply, because I think the Weird Hello box is quite complex. Picking it up first time, and they're backing it up with some prize support and hopefully some more tournaments.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
So if you're enjoying this content, maybe consider checking us out on Patreon if you want to support us further. Everything does help. If not, you can always like, subscribe, and ring that bell to get more of our content, and leave us a little message below to let us know what you're looking forward to in this new box, or what you're not looking forward to in this new box, or what you'd like to see.
Or if you're outraged that GW have repackaged that you already own. If so, let us know in the comments below, and we'll tell you why you're wrong for absolutely free.
So thank you for watching. We'll see you soon in Weird Hollow.